I'm very excited to have my next guest join us. She is an award-winning, talented singer and songwriter who speaks and sings in French so much better than I can. Charlotte Cardin, how are you?
Hi, thanks for having me. I'm good. How are you?
Pretty good. My French is very poor, so I hope I pronounced that properly.
Yeah, that was perfect.
I know that in English-speaking worlds, it's Cardin and it's passable, but I'm trying to, practice some French here with you.
Yeah, no, you nailed it.
Um, Before we start anything, I gotta say, happy belated birthday.
Thank
We
you.
we are actually birthday twins.
Are we?
November 9th.
Are you kidding me?
No
It's a
joke.
very rare birthday. I've only met very few people born November 9th. Well, happy belated birthday to you too, Scorpio King.
When I was looking you up, I was like, wait a second. I see on her
That's
Instagram,
crazy.
happy birthday, with the signs and all that at your show. And I was like, you got to be kidding me. Exactly the same feeling I had. There's nobody or barely anybody with November 9th.
Wow, no, I've like only met a few people. Well, then you have a very good excuse for not making it to the show in San Francisco. Now I get
I wish I
it.
could have celebrated with you, quite frankly.
Yeah.
By the way, I was never an astrology person. It was only when I got older and met other Scorpios that had like, November 8th, November 10th, or whatever. And they described the personality traits and they were like quiet and intense and, strong emotions and things like that. And I was like, this makes sense for what we do in a way because I'm a music fan and I immerse myself in music. And I'm sure that definitely plays a role in you creating music.
Oh, definitely, definitely. And kind of the same as it did for you. I didn't know much about astrology up until a few years ago. My producer, Jason, is super into astrology. And so we started making music together 10 years ago. And he kind of introduced me to the whole thing. And I just feel like such a Scorpio and in all the cliche ways. But I think definitely being able to, I guess being sensitive is just the basis of any artistic work. So whether you're into astrology or you believe in that or not, I think just being like compassionate and sensitive is what will allow you to create whatever creation that may be.
Right. And loyal. And you
And
definitely don't
loyal.
and you definitely don't want to cross a Scorpio because
And you
we'll come
definitely
back.
don't want, yeah, you don't want to be on the blacklist of a Scorpio. You want it to be yeah, you want to be on the good side of the Scorpio for sure.
You say that with such conviction.
Yeah, well, I mean, I just feel like I'm someone who gives a lot of, second chances and I believe in improving certain things and working on relationships, but once it's over, it's over.
Right.
There's no going back. So I don't know if
Right.
that's, I think that's a Scorpio thing. I think it's also just a me thing, but definitely it's something I relate to.
Were you the quiet kid in school as well and always to your thoughts and observing other people's behaviors and
Yes, I had like my moments. So I feel like even in school, like the moments where I would really come out of my shell was really through like I would do all the school talent shows and all of that. And I always felt like that was my time to express certain things. And then otherwise I would keep kind of quiet and really be observing a lot of, the dynamics around me and I was a little bit more on the quiet side for sure, but I was also always very, very sensitive and kind of a little bit anxious growing up. And so I was always very, very emotional and sensitive to the different dynamics around me. And I felt like I was able to, yeah, I guess blossom into the person I wanted to be through music and through songwriting. And so that was starting at a very young age.
obviously music is something that you are very good at. I mentioned how you're an award-winning singer and songwriter and whatnot, and well deserved. But also your personality, as we spoke about. You just dropped this mini EP, and I know I'm gonna butcher it, but I'm gonna try. Un semaine à Paris.
Very good. That was actually very good.
A week in
Yeah.
Paris.
A week in Paris. Yeah. A new mini EP that I just put out today. And it's in French. I put out my sophomore album a couple months ago, 99 Nights, and it's all in English. And when we finished writing 99 Nights, we were still like super inspired and wanted to keep going and writing music. I was in a phase of my life where writing was just making me feel really, really good and kind of just liberating me from all these things. And so we were like, why wouldn't we just go spend a little bit of time in Paris and write some French stuff? Because we hadn't for the past months writing, or the past year writing 99 Nights. And so we did. And we called it A Week in Paris because the songs on the mixtape were written in a week in Paris. And, or at least the biggest part of the EP was written during 1 week in Paris. And since then I moved to Paris. So now I live there more than a week at a time. But yeah, we just wanted to release something a little bit more spontaneous in French. And just, yeah, I just wanted to keep writing. I felt inspired and wanted to do something a little bit different. So we did that. There's a feature with Lalo, who's an amazing French rapper who I have loved and admired for years. So I'm super stoked about that collaboration. And yeah, it was just a super fun EP to work on.
That's A Week in Paris. Now that you live there, what do you think music creation will be like now as a full-time resident? In some regards, I'm sure months at a time, right? You'll be bouncing around.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, because I mentioned that I live there, but I'm touring all over, so I'm
Right.
never really there that much. But yes, indeed. I mean, Paris is such an inspiring place, like you mentioned. Like I step out of my apartment every day, and I can't believe I live there. Like it's just so breathtakingly beautiful. There's a lot of
Without
talent.
without all the details, whereabouts in Paris? Are you like literally
So
near the
I'm in the
Champs-Élysées or
So I'm on the little hill. I'm in Montmartre. So I'm in the 18th arrondissement. So I'm a little bit north, but it's just a lovely neighborhood. It's the only little hill in Paris. And so it's nice to have a view of Paris. We were lucky enough to find an apartment that's a little bit higher up. So we get like a view that is just like insane. So I can't believe I like actually live there. And I just needed I the reason why I moved to Paris is because I needed to feel like inspired by new things. I was brought up in Montreal, has spent my entire life there. I had traveled a little bit when I was modeling and living abroad, and obviously traveling with touring and stuff like that, but I had never really lived anywhere else. And so I just needed to like see new faces, be surrounded by new talent, new landscapes and cityscapes. And I just needed new things. And Paris seemed like the right choice for a lot of reasons. And it's just a very obviously extremely rich culturally. There's always something to do. The food scene, the art scene, the movie scene, the theater scene, like everything is just so dynamic in Paris. And so it's just been extremely inspiring to live there. Like there's not one dull moment in Paris. So it's just been really, really fun.
yeah, you're telling me. I mean, 10 days in Paris for me and out every night, baguettes in the morning, unexpected things that you would never think that
Unexpected
you would
things
do.
always. Yeah, yeah, yeah. And all kinds of different, like people from all parts of the world obviously live or travel to Paris. There's always a friend visiting, or a friend of a friend, or someone super creative around me. And so it's just been, yeah, it's a very special place.
You mentioned 99 Nights that was just released this year. A lot of great words written about that, of course, and congrats on that and touring on the album. What's been the song or a group of songs that you've seen people uh, singing or reciting the lyrics back to you that has been a surprise?
Um, in that on that album, well, I think so. Confetti is definitely the one that I think resonated the most with people. And that was really, really fun to see happen because it's a song that I wrote about. It's kind of my introverted anthem. I wrote it with my friend Lubelin, who's a huge introvert. As we touched base on a little bit earlier, I'm kind of someone who keeps to myself. I'm more on the introverted side for sure. And we really bonded over the fact that we couldn't even count the number of times that we had locked ourselves in a bathroom at a party to just try to like compose ourselves and, regain the energy in order to go back out there and talk to people and mingle and stuff. And so we wrote that song in like a couple of hours. It was like such a fast process because we were so inspired and we had so many examples of times where we had felt that way. So we wanted to write a sad-ish party song for people who don't necessarily like being at the party, but who like party music. And I think the surprising thing is that I think I learned that a lot more people relate to that than I would have thought. I think a lot of people experience social anxiety and feel a little bit awkward in social situations or just straight up introverted. And I wasn't expecting as many people to, I think, relate to the song, which is also such an advantage with songwriting, is that it's so nice to feel like it connects you to other people and you share stories and things that are personal to you can also be super personal and special to other people. And that's great. So Confetti is definitely the one I think that resonated the most with people.
I'm glad you described it. I had an idea of what the song was about, but there were so many memes about people going to parties after the last 3 years of isolation, pandemic, and
right, yeah, and
so
not knowing how to act and being like, oh, like I have to step out of these sweatpants and yeah, definitely. But I completely loved all of those memes because I'm one of those people. So
no, I hear you. Find me at the chip bowl,
yeah, find me, hovering by the bookshelf,
Right. And obviously everybody has been talking about Jim Carrey. It's kind of hard not to talk about it. That particular song, I'm sure, is also one that resonates with people at live shows.
Yeah, definitely. It's been a really fun one to perform live as well, because the chorus is like a big gang shout, and so it's just nice to have everyone sing along, and it just feels like a very liberating moment. Like we wrote it thinking of the live moment and the moment where I would share that song live, and it just definitely hits different live. It's really fun to perform, and it's dancey and it's fun, and it's also kind of, yeah, it's just all these things, and it just, yeah, makes more sense when it's shared in live context.
Yeah. Rub it in some more, because I missed you live when I had the chance.
Yeah, I know.
You were playing on our birthday.
I know. Next time I come, I'll try to come November 8th.
Or I'll have to just go to Paris to see you.
Yeah, exactly.
You can play for me, just for me, for my birthday, our birthday, on your patio.
I love it. Okay, let's do it. I'm down.
I don't know many people in Paris, so
we'll do a shared birthday in Paris.
that would be so rad. So great talking to you. I really appreciate it. Congrats on all the success and kind words and whatnot. I'm sure there'll be some award nominations for this.
Thank you.
And best of luck with everything.
Thank you so much for having me. It was really fun talking to you as well.